Hello, my name is Ana Pagès, and I am a professor in the Faculty of Education Blanquerna, Ramon Llull University, located in Barcelona, Spain. I'm very grateful to the Journal of Philosophy of Education for having invited me to make this short presentation about my contribution. It is a paper included in a special series dedicated to René Arcilia's book, Wim Wenders' Role Movie Philosophy, Education Without Learning, published by Bloomsbury in 2021. In this extraordinary work, Arcilia stresses the notion of education from its Latin root educere, meaning to be led out. He also makes a strong distinction between what he calls the regime of learning, this general obsession with evidence based final outcomes in the process of learning, and education as an existential experience of being on a kind of road. Being on a kind of road, I thought this was a very inspiring metaphor, but I also thought that it required a little nuance. And this is why I wrote this paper. The title of my paper is On a Kind of Road, The Eye and the Gaze in Wim Wenders' Paris, Texas. Now, Wim Wenders is one of the most relevant filmmakers in what we call the new German cinema, together with Werner Herzog and Fassbinder, for instance. Paris, Texas was made in 1984 based on a theater play written by Sam Shepard. I watched Paris, Texas for the first time in a tiny movie theater downtown in Barcelona. It doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. It was a place called Cinema Capsa. Now, capsa in Catalan means box. So, metaphorically speaking, when I was 19 years old, I got into that box and got out fairly changed. It was kind of what the philosopher Gabor Czepregui would call a life-defining moment, because many of the topics and the questions that posed the movie, such as remembrance, memory, oblivion, and the difficulties in the process of transmission in the educational settings, were going to be in the years to follow one of the main aspects of my academic career in the field of philosophy of education. Now, Paris, Texas is the story of a lost and speechless man, Travis, found in the Mojave Desert in the United States. His brother Walt pick him up and take him to his house in Los Angeles, where he lives with his wife, a French lady, and Travis' son's Hunter, a little boy of 7 years old. Everybody asks Travis the same question: where were you all these years? And he is not able to speak. The only thing he can respond is two words: Paris, Texas. So, in a way, there is a parallel between Paris, Texas in the United States and Paris, France, the capital of France in Europe. These two words represent the main question posed by the film that has to do with how to interpret our own past and give a sense to the images beyond what is being seen in them. So I thought that the notion of the eye and the gaze in the four fundamental concepts of psychoanalysis, published in 1973 by Jacques Lacan in Paris, France, could be a kind of guide or um, an orientation path towards the analysis of what Wenders was trying to say to us through this movie. Now, Lacan makes a distinction between the eye and the gaze, and he puts the example of the dreamer. When we dream, we are inside the dream, at the same time, the viewers and the object being viewed. And so sometimes we think we are seeing something when we are not looking at, and the other way around, we look at without saying anything. This distinction between the eye and the gaze, what it can be seen, and what is our relation with what we call the sense of perception, could help us to introduce a certain dialectics between learning and education, and to move forward a little further on from what Artilia poses as an exclusion from of learning from education. And so this is why I am defending in my paper the role of psychoanalysis as a complementary field of work and research that can help philosophy of education to understand better some of the things that philosophy, in his extending way of looking at the world, has difficulties to understand. I hope you would enjoy reading my paper. I highly recommend you to watch Paris, Texas before, during, or after the reading. It's an extraordinary movie, and I'm sure you will understand much better what I am saying in the paper if you watch the film. But anyway, I highly recommend it to you. And as Blaise Pascal would say, try to read my article not too fast or not too slow in order to raise up new questions that perhaps can come back to me. Thank you very much.